Yes, sir. We have Adams on site.
Guy, 904 Foxtrot, enter left base, runway 18, contact the tower, 118.7, good day.
Alright, enter left base, runway 18 and tower 18.7. Have a good day, 904 Foxtrot.
Yeah!
Adams Tower, good morning. Skog 519 for Foxtrot's on a 12-mile left base, runway 18.
194 Foxtrot, Adams Tower, runway 18, cleared land.
Alright, clear to land, runway 18, 904 Foxtrot.
Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of FMWay Aviation Interviews and Stories. It's been a while since we have recorded a podcast episode, but I'm happy to announce we have a few guests lined up for you all this month. Before I introduce today's guest, let's get some social media shoutouts. If you want to see behind the scenes of Green Brothers Flying, head over to our Facebook page, Green Brothers Flying, our Instagram at Green Brothers Flying, our Twitter at Flying_Green, and join our official Discord server. All these links will be in the description below. Now, let's introduce our guest. Our first guest of the month is Marcus Gray. Marcus is a private pilot in the United States. Marcus, welcome to the podcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into aviation? What made you interested in it?
Well, I didn't really grow up around aviation per se, but my grandfather was a pilot in the Navy from 1953 up until the mid-60s. He flew Navy P-2Vs and S&J 2s, or S&J 3s, which is basically the Navy version of a AT-6, and he flew Hellcats. So he's really what got me into aviation. Then later I learned my Uncle Mark was a Delta senior captain who used to fly Mad Dogs. So that was all a big contributing factor.
So you have your private pilot's license. Is that the first license you got?
That is the first license I got. And I'd been working on that with the flight school I'm at for about 4 or 5 months. But I've actually gone through 3 different flight schools. The first one actually closed while I was attending there, and I first started when I was 16. That flight school closed, then I went to another flight school, and that just didn't work out, and finally, at 19 years old, I finished it up.
Nice. And what airplane did you train in?
I trained in a series of 2000 through 2004 Cessna 172Rs.
Very nice. And were they steam or were they glass cockpit?
They were steam gauges. We did have a glass cockpit 172 out there, but it was for our sister school in Ormond Beach. We didn't get to play with it.
Gotcha. And with your private pilot's license, do you have maybe like a remote pilot's license?
I do not have a remote pilot's license. I did go through the ground school to get a remote pilot's license, but I never actually obtained it.
Gotcha. So you don't have any type of UAS drone license?
No.
Gotcha. So do you have any future careers or endeavors with your licenses, ratings, etc.?
I mean, I'm hoping to go the path that everyone else that wants to be a airline pilot of, going through to your CFI and building hours as a flight instructor before moving along to the next step with a carrier.
Gotcha. Do you have any favorite carriers that you want to go to, or any that are on top of the list?
Starting out, I really like Ameriflight. I like their company, how it's structured and all that. Love their fleet. Even though they're not quite a stepping stone towards FedEx. They're more kind of towards UPS, I think. I still like their company a lot.
Gotcha. So you eventually want to go to FedEx and fly cargo and not fly passengers, correct?
Right.
Gotcha. And if you could pick any plane at FedEx fleet to fly, what would it be?
It'd probably be the 767.
The 767. I like that choice. And do you have any specific reason why you would choose the 767 over any other fleet?
Um, well, mostly because of the routing. They're mostly domestic routing, but they're bigger than the 757, even though I completely adore the 75 as well.
Right.
And they're the same type rating, pretty much. So it's just nice bit of maneuverability there between the aircraft.
Gotcha. I feel you there. You mentioned Ameriflight. What airplane stands out to you at an Ameriflight fleet?
I love the EMB 120, like just the overall vibes from it and the design language. It's just, I think, a gorgeous airplane.
So the 120 Brasilia, aka the Bro, basically.
Right, the Bro.
Gotcha. Yeah, that airplane is pretty cool. I know you and I have got a tour of it due to some of our friends down in Phoenix, and I didn't realize how cool of a plane it is, even though it's a twin turbo prop and not a jet airplane.
Right.
Do you want to maybe own an
Um,
airplane in the future or anything
yeah,
interesting?
at some point in my life, I would definitely want to own an aircraft. I just think the concept of being able to use a plane in the same way you like use a car, just thinking about that is so cool
Right,
because I don't really think that's something a lot of people consider when they're like dreaming about becoming an airline pilot. It's like, hey, there's a point in time where you can rent a plane and it's basically the same amount of freedom you have with a car, except in the air.
right. Air travel is one of those things that a lot of people kind of throw under the bus, so to speak. You know, what's that one famous thing? 1 mile road will take you 1 mile, but 1 mile of runway will take you anywhere in the world. I mean, it's so true. You
Right,
know, you could go cross country from New York to LA in 5 hours. You know, compared to driving, it would take you like a week or something to do
right.
that. You know, air travel is so much faster, so much quicker, so much more efficient, and some people won't believe me here, but it's actually the safest form of travel in the United States.
Well, I think statistically speaking, if you look at hours and people transported, elevators are the safest form of transport in the U.S.
Yeah,
But there's
true.
only so far you can go on an elevator.
Right. I mean, an airplane and car, you can go pretty much anywhere. You know, it takes a short time to go in an airplane versus a car, but still.
Just kind of a misconception about aviation. You don't really have to be the most intelligent person out there to be a pilot. Like
Definitely not.
we had a kid in high school. There was a kid in high school in my aerospace class. Huge know-it-all. I don't know where he is now, but he was a huge know-it-all. He was, you know, always spouting some sort of facts, and that stuff is important. And I dig your enthusiasm, but don't be an ass about it
I feel
because
you.
you don't need to be smart to fly. Like, I
No,
mean,
you
I'm a
really
great
don't.
testament that I'm terrible at math. I
Oh,
have
I am
no
too. I feel
grammar
you.
skills, and I'm the biggest klutz you'll ever see. But I actually have a private pilot's license now, and it proves you don't have to be the smartest person on earth to be a good pilot.
Right. You know, back then, way back before technology, yeah, you had to know a little bit more math than you do now, but everything is so advanced, you know, with EFBs, electronic flight bags, and ForeFlight, and how airplanes, computers are set up, you know, everything you just
Right,
plug in and the computer does it for you. I mean, there's not really a lot of math to it.
right.
So yeah, you could be like myself and yourself, be horrendous at math and still get a license,
Right.
Like you said,
And
the misconception is, you have to be good at math to be a pilot. No, you don't.
right. And in aviation, whatever you need to learn, you can learn it. There's like anyone can learn how to be a pilot,
Oh yeah,
no matter what. Like
yeah,
if you take the right approach, you can do it.
right. Yeah. So, kind of going more on that, what's your advice to some of the younger generation or even older people, that are interested in aviation and want to get a pilot's license?
If you want to get a pilot's license, I strongly suggest diving into it all at once. Like, give it as much prior thought as you can in regards to like saving up and getting into it, but don't try to spread your private pilot's license out over a year or two. If you do that, it's the chances that you're not going to finish go up exponentially. You should be trying to fly at least 3 days a week and just trying to get it done as swiftly as possible so that you don't lose motivation, steam, or anything else gets in the way. The
Right.
best
Yeah.
way to get it done is just to jump into it.
That's good words of advice because definitely when I started, I was 14 when I started, and I was flying once every other week because my mom, didn't think I was serious, quote unquote, about it, and I was dead serious, and that pushed me back further and further with having to relearn everything. So, like you said, if you're gonna go do it, go do it. Fly 2 or 3 times a week. Study. You don't have to know it all to be able to pass a check ride. Just know
Right,
the fundamentals of it, and I will also say this: there's never an age. There's never too old of an age to start.
right.
It's one of those things that if you have a passion about it, go for it. Yes, there's going to be ups and downs. You're going to want to feel like you're giving up. Heck, I did probably 30 hours of straight pattern work trying to nail my landings, and I wanted to give up, but I knew the reward was bigger on the other. And I went through uh, an instructor change after my instructor got hurt in a car wreck, et cetera, et cetera.
Good idea to have a mixed base of knowledge. You're never going to get better if you're having to start from base one every other week.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Changing instructors every other week is a pain in the rear end. I did that pretty often at my flight school, um, and it was just too much. I had to go tell the chief flight instructor, look, I can't do this. You're gonna have to put me with someone uh, that's gonna be there a little bit and get me through this. And eventually, I partnered up with my friend who's now working at the airlines, and yeah, we got through what we needed to get through. Don't be
Right,
afraid to go talk to higher ups about your problems. They're gonna help you, or they should help you if they do their job right.
absolutely. Yeah, that's it for me.
All right,
Thank you for having me on.
no problem. Well, guys, that is Marcus Gray, a private pilot based in the wonderful state of Florida. Here in the virtual studio of Line Up and Eight, wait, we do wish you blue skies and a tailwind. Safe flights, Marcus.
I can't get too close to you.